Marker.
This is feature filmmaking on a micro-budget with Sorry We're Dead. Hey, Alex Zaitchuk here, writer-director of the indie dramedy Sorry We're Dead, and welcome to my little series about some of the details and decisions that went into finishing my first feature. When we were filming Sorry We're Dead, we had several happy accidents. These were things we didn't plan for or have control over, but ended up in the movie because they were often better than the original plan. In part 1, we talked about some animal-related happy accidents, but here in part 2, I'm gonna rapid fire through a few other happy accidents. So in this shot, the clock falls off the wall in the background.
I deserve that.
In the film, it seems perfectly planned and timed, but the truth is that this was entirely an accident. When we got to this location, the clock was already on the wall, but we ended up lowering it a little bit to get it into the shot. However, our tape job was apparently not sufficient, and right at the end of the shot here, the clock falls. We were actually shooting here for at least half an hour and the clock was holding strong, so it was a total surprise that in our very last take, the clock fell. You can even see the tape back here that was holding the clock up. I burst out laughing when this happened, thinking it had ruined the shot, but actually our actor had miraculously kept his cool, and when reviewing the footage, I realized that this was even better than the original plan. Alright, next up. Here in this shot, a random stranger jogged through the background at just the right moment. We didn't plan for that, but suddenly he was there. Again, this was a lot better than the empty background we had originally set up for. Alright, next. This scene, which has Bird realizing that Lana's name is anal spelled backwards.
You know what, Lana? I just realized that your name spelled backwards is anal.
And Lana retaliates.
Your initials are BJ, so suck on that. Ha!
Is one of the only scenes in the film with much sexual innuendo. But somehow, purely by accident, it ended up being scene 69 when we filmed it. It wasn't scene 69 in the script, it was like 71 or something, but because of the way we had combined some scenes, this ended up being slated as scene 69. As we slated it, we realized that it was quite appropriate for the scene. We ended up having our second AC tail slate it so that our actual slate could end up in the movie.
This is tail slate for scene 69, take 2, marker.
If you look, you actually see that this is take 2, because I'm not sure we had discovered this joke yet in take 1. Alright, here's a minor one. We forgot our ND filters when shooting this exterior scene of Lana crossing the bridge. For those that don't know, ND filters are kind of like sunglasses you can put on a lens. They help you control exactly how much you can have in focus at once. Anyway, because we forgot the ND filters, this meant we had to stop down to like an f/22. As a result, the background is much sharper than we would have tended to shoot this scene. But upon seeing it, I actually thought it looked quite good, and I'm kind of happy to have the scene looking this way. And here's one more happy accident of a different nature. Throughout the film, the characters get these on-screen titles, sometimes known as lower thirds or chirons, that introduce them. As I was copy and pasting a previous chiron onto this scene to introduce Michael, it accidentally covered his face. I laughed a little and then went to move it, and then I realized it was kind of funny, but it sort of looked like a mistake. And then part of the way through the scene, Michael walked out from behind it. So then it occurred to me, it can kind of be even funnier if it follows his face. So that's what I did. And now this is one of my favorite moments in the film. All these kinds of happy accidents are the thing you want to keep an eye out for when you're making a micro-budget feature, or honestly just about any kind of art probably. Sometimes you can accidentally discover something better than you had originally planned, but you have to keep yourself open to change and discovery. We could easily have said cut, the cat's walking through the shot, or cut, the clock fell, and then moved on to another take and written those mistakes off as the bad kinds of mistakes, rather than the potentially good or inspiring or useful kind of mistakes. Alright, check out some more of these videos to learn about the making of our micro-budget feature Sorry We're Dead, and check out the film itself on platforms like Amazon, Apple TV, Vimeo On Demand, or for free on Tubi. See you next time.